Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Bold Ties Podcast. I'm Alex, and this week I'll be continuing my talk on the Legend of Zelda series. For those who don't know, I'm currently playing through the entire Zelda series in order of release. With each game I beat, I give my impressions and share what I enjoyed, and maybe what I didn't. Today, I'll be discussing the third and fourth titles, A Link to the Past and Link's Awakening. So let's jump right in. The first thing I noted when I booted up A Link to the Past were the animations. I was blown away with how good everything looked. The detailed environments, Link's expressions and movements. You can even see the light travel up his sword as he charges his spin attack. It's all expertly done. In fact, I was so impressed that I had to look online to make sure I wasn't playing some souped up version of the game. Nope, it was the original. I think after playing the first two on the NES, I was taken aback with how much more the SNES is capable of. It quickly became apparent to me how influential A Link to the Past is to the rest of the series. I hadn't played a Zelda game until a month ago, but like everyone who's heard of the series, I had an idea of how the games looked and functioned. I'd say that A Link to the Past is responsible for injecting the series with the personality that we know it for today. The vibrant, colorful world, the quirky yet helpful townsfolk, even assaulting cuckoos, all of that and more started here. I'm sure you know that Zelda feeling that I'm talking about. I could sense that aesthetic in this game more so than the previous two. And this is saying nothing yet of the excellent dungeon design that has become a staple of the series since. The dungeons were easily my favorite part of A Link to the Past. As long as you had all the needed equipment going in, they essentially acted as these self-contained, intricate puzzles. When I started a dungeon, I pretty much couldn't put it down until it was finished. For one reason, if I walked away, I might forget the dungeon layout, and that would be a waste. And because I love how they teased my brain. I could sense how well thought out they were. There's a perfect difficulty level that you want to achieve when making a game. In my opinion, that difficulty exists one step above what the player's skill is, meaning you want the game to always be slightly more challenging than what the player previously accomplished. If the difficulty is too many steps above, then the game will seem unbalanced. If it's too many steps below, then the game will seem boring and unimmersive. But if you achieve this perfect difficulty, you can lock the player in, and suddenly hours fly by as they play. Obviously, each player has different tastes. Some like games easier and some like it more difficult. But I think this is a general rule of thumb. Bringing this all back to A Link to the Past, I felt that the dungeons did a great job keeping this balance. I can't recall any moments where I felt the solution was too abstract. Every dungeon was consistently challenging, and that's what kept me immersed. Anyway, I never cared much for the Save the Princess plot motivation of Zelda games. From a narrative standpoint, I feel almost no need to rescue this character I know nothing about, and the fact that the developers rely so often on this trope raises some serious questions as to how they view gender roles. But so far in the series, it was never something that bothered me to the point of talking about it. In A Link to the Past, however, you don't just save Zelda twice throughout the story, you have to rescue 6 other helpless maidens. You can only imagine the eye roll I did when that plot point was revealed to me. To sum everything up, A Link to the Past is a good game. It is responsible for so much of what we call Zelda today that I would put it next to the original in terms of what games in the series all fans should play. Next up, Link's Awakening. Where do I begin? I really enjoyed this one. I decided to play this on the original Game Boy. Why would I choose that over the DX version? Because the original came on the year I was born, and I wanted to see how games looked and played back then. I also just prefer to play the original version of games so I get an idea of the technology and era they were made in. I don't want to remove them from that context because it's so foundational to how they are designed. Anyway, what immediately stuck out to me was the music of Link's Awakening. I found every track to be very charming and memorable. It's hard to put into words what makes music so good. This will always be a hard aspect of a game for me to talk about, but I think the most important thing about a song is its ability to summon an emotion within you. If we use that as a scale of quality, then I would say the soundtrack in Link's Awakening did a great job doing just that. For example, let's take a few moments to listen to Ballad of the Windfish so that you know what I'm talking about. That's it. That's beautiful. Now, I gotta take a moment to talk about the story and characters of Link's Awakening. Marin is my favorite character yet in the Zelda series. She's very lovable, musically gifted, apparently more so than Link as the game implies, and her tragic story makes you feel for her. I'm going to get into some spoilers here, so if you had any plans to play these games, you should probably turn away now. We good? Okay. Marin is a dream, a part of this massive dream that Link gets pulled into, and her story is sad because she only dreams about leaving the dream. She doesn't know about her true existence. She just wants to see what lies beyond the island. Where do the coconuts that wash up on her shore come from? In my opinion, Link's Awakening is the Zelda series' first attempt at meaningful storytelling. It actually tries to tell a tale that is more than just an epic adventure. It sets aside the time to build a character at an emotional level. This is found in the scene where Link and Marin look across the ocean and she opens up about her personal dreams. I think this is a lesser known big step for the series, and I really appreciate it. The only minor critique I have for the game is that I found the trading sequence to be very frustrating. I know these are adventure games and some people love all the exploring and how difficult it is. However, for example, there's the starving father in the mountains and he's looking for an item that'll nourish him. You have bananas, but he doesn't acknowledge that. Nah, what he wants is a pineapple, which is 3 items down the trading sequence. Running around the map trying to figure out where these items go, I wasn't having fun, but that's just me, and I know some people like it. In the end, I only have fond memories when I look back at Link's Awakening. My only wish is that I age as well as the game has. That's all for now, folks. Next time in this series, I'll be giving my impressions on Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. These are 2 legendary games that I'm really looking forward to digging into. Thanks for listening. I hope I was clear, I hope I was insightful, and I'll see you here next week. Bye.